All right, we're going to roll into our next media availability here. We've got two of our hometown drivers that are going to be competing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series Boyd Gaming 300 here at Las Vegas. You've got Brendan Gaughan, driver of the number 62 South Point Chevrolet, and Spencer Gallagher, driver of the number 23 Allegiant Travel Chevrolet. To the both of you, kind of talk about how it is to be competing at your hometown track this weekend.
It's something special, man. You know, growing up racing on the bull ring, every kid hears the big cup motors going around the speedway, and that shortly becomes your dream to get out there and be able to get on the big track and compete with the big boys. So, you know, to me, first Xfinity race in my hometown, it's a dream come true.
I mean, I've told the story over years and years. I was mad as hell when Ralph and Richie built this place because this was the start line of the Mint 400. You know, I remember seeing the plans going, what are you doing? You're ruining my desert racetrack. And to be here 20 years later, to still be running here and still be doing it, it still has that same special feeling as it does for Spencer being in his first one. And it doesn't go away when it's your hometown, especially a town like Las Vegas where it's not North Carolina where it's everybody's, you know, race team's hometown. This is a unique deal for guys like Spencer and myself, and it's amazing how many young kids nowadays are coming out of this town and the talent that's being made here because of this speedway.
All right, with that, we'll open it up to questions. Please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation. We'll get a wireless mic over to you. Anybody?
Easy Media Center.
No?
Adventurous crowd this morning.
We'll go to Chris Knight here in the middle.
The good Lord.
That's next weekend. Or no, that's a couple weeks away in Auto Club. Looking ahead, we're going to Bristol, and it's a Dash for Cash race. And I was just looking for your thoughts, Brendan, on the Dash for Cash race and how much of a fun that's going to be for the Xfinity drivers at Bristol's.
I got to tell you, I haven't seen the format. Is it still heat raced? I'm sorry, and I apologize.
There's no heat racing.
So it's still staged?
Mm-hmm. Staged. Yes.
So stage one, stage two, top four, top two in the first one, top two in the second one, and then the last run to the finish will be the four drivers for it. Okay, that's cool. I think that's unique. I definitely, I got to tell you, I said to the get-go to the media many, many times last year, see how it plays out before you say if you like the heat racing or not. And after watching the heat races play out, probably one of the bigger busts that we've done in a long time. And so it just didn't work out like everybody wanted. It did not make for the excitement, and it did not play out as NASCAR nor the drivers were hoping. So I'm excited that they revamped it, and that's what I do applaud NASCAR about nowadays. When they make bad decisions, they will quickly redo them, and when they make good ones, you got to tell them they made a good one. And that one was one that they tried, didn't work. So that doesn't bother me. That actually works well into the format that we have, and going to Bristol, that's a hell of a place for a freaking Dash for Cash race. That could be exciting.
Oh yeah, people are gonna get all kinds of crazy there.
Why do you like Bristol so much for a Dash for Cash race?
It's just different than you can do a lot more there. You can wreck a guy's day. You're going to be in closer contact with somebody, closer quarters with somebody to put yourself in a position for that money, the stage wins, and for the eventually the $100,000 at the end. So when you have a bigger track, you're spread out more. You have that Bristol track, you're very, very rarely spread out. You have a fighting chance to make an aggressive move to win $100,000, and in this sport, $100,000 goes a long way.
And last question, I know you were critical last year on the heat racing, one of the more critical drivers on the heat racing, but so far with the stages, do you like what you're seeing in the Xfinity Series?
I wasn't really critical of it. I started by saying, let's see how it goes. I mean, that was my main thing. Is I didn't. Well, no, I said once after the third one, I went, okay, this didn't look great, but it wasn't that I was critical of it. It's, hey, look, if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. But I wanted to see it. That's my main thing. I'm not one of these fools that loves to just criticize something before you ever see anything happen. And I said the same thing about the stage racing this year. I really did not expect the stages to work out the way they have. I did not expect it to make a big difference. I thought, we'll see how it goes. I like the volatility of the points. That was my main thing I said from the get-go. I love that you can gain so many more points or lose so many more points now than you used to. But at Daytona, it surprised the hell out of me. With 4 laps to go before the end of the one stage, I'm running fourth, single file, happy, just chilling, like, hey, we're gonna get to the end of this stage and survive and go on. And I looked in my mirror and I saw a freight train of 15 guys on the bottom that were racing for the stage win. I did not expect that. Last week in Atlanta, you saw me screw up royally in front of the frickin' leader, look like a complete moron, and almost wreck him, almost wreck my teammate, go through the grass. Thank God it hadn't rained, so I was able to skate through the grass without ripping the nose off it. That accident happened because I was racing to that caution because I knew it was coming. So, I mean, it definitely has changed the way that we race, that we approach it, and it's done more than I was really expecting. So, so far, I'm a fan of it.
We'll stay here in the middle.
This question's for Spencer. This is I'm Dick and Ware with the Motorsports Report. Spencer, you're a local guy. How did you start racing? What was your first thing? How'd you get into it? Was the folks behind you, family, friends, sisters, brothers? How'd you get into this insane industry?
Insane's the right word for it. I actually got started road racing legends on this very inner road course here, and for a long time I did it, for fun, race 3-4 times a year, go have fun with the buddies, and I was pursuing a career in the software industry up in San Francisco during the meantime. About 2008 and 9, all of a sudden I started picking up wins left, right, and center. The switch just flipped and I started getting it. So the name that a lot of people are going to know around here, T.J. Clark, he was my mentor. He was the guy that was running our cars. And the Clarks and us have had a family history for a while. We helped out Spencer, when he was in his bull ring career, helped get him into the West Series and eventually into the Xfinity Series. But one day, about 2008, the end of it, TJ sat me down. Hey kid, you ever consider doing this seriously? No. Well, and we sat and had about a 2-hour conversation, and by the end of it, he had convinced me to give it a shot. So 2009, I turned my first lap at an oval out here in the bull ring, and from there moved into late models and into K&N cars pretty shortly, and then on up to ARCA trucks and here.
We'll come to the right here go
Hey,
ahead,
hey
Brendan.
Gluck, after all that, that's the one quote you want to pull on that, huh? Huh? Oh, okay, gotcha.
We'll go to Woody Kane.
Woody Kane with MRN. Spencer, since Brendan just talked about the stage racing, I wanted to get your thoughts on it as well and how it's different at intermediate tracks versus a plate track, and a little bit about how GMS is really seeming to come on. I hate to use the phrase overnight success because I know it's not, but it really seems like you guys are coming on strongly.
In the NASCAR world, that's an overnight success, how quickly they've done this. I mean, it's bad to the bone what they've been able to accomplish.
You
I'm
put
not
the
done with
right
you
people
yet
in the
either.
right places, and you'll be amazed what can happen. But no, I kind of agree with Brennan. It sort of took me aback at how much of a difference it made, the stages have made in the racing. But I guess that's the old adage: you put a ticking clock on something, and people start getting crazy. So I think it's been a real good benefit to the race, and I think people end up trying to find that last little extra 10% to get all they can in the last couple laps of a stage. And I think that's what the fans want to see, is us trying our guts out. We're going to get that last spot, hell or high water, when the stage ends. And to GMS, thank you for asking. It really has been a humbling and mind-blowing experience to watch how far we've come in such a short time, and I credit that all to people. I really do. Something my father ingrained into me from very early on in life: you can have all the best technology, all the best money, all the best this and that. It doesn't matter worth a damn if you don't have the right people behind it running it. And about the end of 2014, if I recall, we got our competition director, Mike Beam, on, and that man's been the single best thing we've done since we started racing. He really revolutionized our approach to how we're running week in, week out. And, like you said, it seems like an overnight success, but really, I think what you're seeing is the fruition of all the hard work that we had been putting in since the end of 14 to make ourselves into a competitive truck and now Xfinity team. So I can't give the guys and the people behind GMS enough credit. I tell them they're the ones that make these things go fast. I just hold the gas down and turn left. But it really is something to see, I have to tell you. I remember waking up the morning after Johnny won the championship last year, and all I could think to myself was 0 to championship in 36 months. That thought just kept running through my head over and over. So trust me, it's as mind-blowing to me as it is to you guys. I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
And to Brendan, talked with you a little bit about this last week about City Light Shine, but what's the backstory? How did you get from point A to point B?
Well, first, thank you, Mr.
I still
Gallagher.
don't know what that is. I want to know what that is, by the way.
City Light Shine is the new whiskey that we are making here in Las Vegas.
Ooh.
We are the first and only legal distillery in Las Vegas. Got to stress the legal part, if we're adding first to it. So, well, the backstory is that there's a certain individual that may have been an official for quite a few years that may have made a product once in a while that we used to taste, and may or may not I will invoke my right to the Fifth Amendment. And my mother and my father really enjoyed actually liked it, and so about 2 years ago, my mom always says that I talk about my dad all the time, but never her. Well, my mother said, hey, I like this stuff. Look into it. And I looked into the business, and for me, most of my life has always been about numbers. I like to do what I know. That's kind of been the Gaughan family motto for 50 years. But you also have to look at businesses in the end as numbers, and the numbers made sense. My partner moved out from North Carolina, moved to Las Vegas, and we have a distillery now up at Rainbow Warm Springs in Las Vegas, about 3 miles from the South Point, a mile from Southern Glazer, my distributor. And we are making a whiskey moonshine. It's now available at the South Point. It's available here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Thank you to Mr. Powell, Marcus Smith, and all of SMI. It looks like we're going to have it at all the SMI tracks. So, Mr. Simonier, thank you. Of course, we all know Kentucky is one of my more favorite mile-and-a-half racetracks, and so it will be at the SMI tracks. We're really excited about that. It's a flavored whiskey. We have strawberry, blueberry, raspberry, original, clear, and we'll be doing some other flavors here and there. But it's at the South Point right now. Matter of fact, I just got a text about 30 minutes ago that the new shipment arrived to the loading dock this morning at 8:15 a.m. and they were loading up more product in the gift shop as I spoke. So. It's here. It's going to be around. It's going to be around the country. It's on the race car. So thank you to my dad for basically nothing letting me steal it from him. So I better forgive. We all know the adage, better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So I took his name off the race car in a couple spots and put City Light Shine. I figured he's got enough publicity over the years.
Yeah, I'd say he's got
share.
some pretty good
Time to share.
exposure.
Awesome. Any additional questions for either of these two? Yeah, we'll go right to the
tasting
back.
part. It's here. It is for sale right now at the concession stands at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We have 11 locations here at the Speedway. One in the Neon Garage, a couple in the concession stand, a couple in the Midway, a couple in the suite levels. It is all over the place.
Are you going to be unveiling this product at the Nightclub and Bar Convention?
Am I going to be at the Nightclub and Bar Convention right now?
Unveiling the product?
I still have an unfortunate day job at the moment, which takes a lot of my time. It's called racing.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Job.
A little bit of time. So I won't be able to do some of those. My partners will be there. We do have a flavor that we're going to make for the nightclubs here in Vegas that the mixologists at Southern Glazer really liked. It's a salted caramel. So we will probably debut that very soon at probably Dre's or something, one of our old friends that runs some nightclubs here.
We'll kick it over to Jeff Gluck.
Hi, the sensational Mr. Gluck.
The one, the only.
Wow, this is going to be really disappointing, man. Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. For Spencer, I'm wondering what your friends that you grew up with think of you being a race car driver, since you weren't on that path when you maybe were a kid.
As my brother loves to say, of all the professional sports you could have chosen, NASCAR. Really? NASCAR. But no, it was definitely a, forgive the pun, hard left turn for my career path, and a lot of my friends like to observe that. It's I think I'm definitely the one that ends up with the award of most unexpected career choice. But they love coming out, they love supporting me, and I know I've always got about a 40-strong rabid fan base out there anytime I'm here. So that's a pretty great feeling. I'm pretty sure too they set the record when I was K&N racing at the bull ring for drunkest section of fans. So I'm not sure if that's a highlight or low light, but it was pretty impressive to see nonetheless.
Any additional questions? All right, Spencer, Brendan, thanks for coming in, and good
Thanks,
luck
you
this
guys.
weekend.